Hi guys, here are some of my thoughts on Indic training systems. By that I mean physical workouts. Now, why specifically Indic? Because workout systems of everywhere, of all countries, are different from other countries. There are similarities and there are large dissimilarities as well. Mainly, the Western training systems and Western workout methods are largely bullshit. And the only good trainings that they do is either taken from Russian training systems or Indian training systems. And by Indian training systems, I mean our 4,000, 5,000 year old training systems that led our kings and our armies to be strong enough to create this civilization. And Russians have pretty good training systems as well. Now, first, I want to make a disclaimer that I will probably be offending a lot of guys who go to gyms and work out. And I don't mean this personally, of course. I love the fact that you guys go to gym and work out. But and because any workout is better than no workout. Any body movement is better than no body movement. So I don't want you to stop going to the gym. I think you should think a little harder and modify and tweak your training systems a little bit. So Western workout systems are largely in the section of bodybuilding. Now, people think bodybuilding is the only form of working out, and that has never been more wrong. Bodybuilding is just one sport in a world of countless other sports, and every sport has a different section, different kind of workout for that particular sport. The training that an MMA fighter does for MMA is not the same as what Virat Kohli does for his sport, and it's not the same as what a wrestler will do. And therefore, the training that is needed for bodybuilding is applicable only if you want to become a bodybuilder. Now, here's something else. Bodybuilding is a sport where doping and taking steroids is an open secret. Their legalities are such that you can lie and get away with it. And everyone knows, and 5 days after every bodybuilder retires from their professional bodybuilding, they give out details of how many steroids they were using. They take TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and when you increase your testosterone artificially, proportionately your estrogen also goes up, so you have to take estrogen blockers, then you have to take D-bol, you have to take trenbolone, and countless other steroids, which leads to most bodybuilders dying at the age of 42, 40, 45. That's almost the average life cycle, average life expectancy of a bodybuilder. So bodybuilding essentially has nothing to do with long-term health, fitness or longevity, etc. The bodybuilders who do survive to long age and long health are because they have given up bodybuilding and have taken up some other ways of fitness, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And other bodybuilders like the king Ronnie Coleman is in wheelchair and has had 11 back operations. So obviously I don't mean that as a disrespect. Make no mistake, I don't disrespect bodybuilders. I don't think they are working less hard than anyone else. They are working as hard as any other athlete, but they are just working hard at only looking good. Looking good is the genre of working out called aesthetic fitness. Aesthetic fitness is the starting and end point of bodybuilding. Growing muscles and giving them a good shape is the end goal of bodybuilding, and that's all you can do in a gym. All your gym trainers are essentially from the bodybuilding world. They cannot teach you long endurance. They cannot teach you how to be physically strong in day-to-day life. They have almost no knowledge of functional strength or functional fitness. Functional meaning you have some function. Taking a 200 kg dumbbell like this has no functional strength. There's almost no situation on earth where you will be taking up something like this. Maybe you'll carry up some patient on the road like this, but doing this has no functional effect. And most gym workouts have no functional strength applications. But a lot of people, a lot of hunters in the West also train in the gym because they train many other physical activities and functional training techniques as well. They do some gym bodybuilding workouts just to give some variety to their training. Now, where does the Indian training system come into this? Indian training systems are different from West in a major sense because Indian training systems are not weight bearing, in the sense that any workout that you do based on Indic training systems, you are not supposed to carry the weight all the time in the one rep that you are doing. So for example, done by thak like this, right? That's also called Hindu push-ups in the West. I spoke to some American wrestling fans, not wrestling, I mean WWE, I don't mean WWE, I mean Kushti. So Kushti is very popular in USA, it's very popular in Russia, and India is probably the only country in any sport that a sport is played by one state of that country, and yet that country brings good medals in every competition, which is Haryana. Haryana is only state in India that does Kushti, and yet they create athletes who compete with all of Russia's wrestlers and all of America's wrestlers. So anyway, so the dun baitak is very popular among our Kushti wrestlers, mud wrestlers. So what happens in dun baitak as opposed to push-up is, in the push-up you are continuously bearing your weight, you are going up and going down, you are bringing your upper body up and down. But in the dun baitak it's a swing, you go whoosh and you come back. So that thrust, that swing is the goal. Then there's a kind of squat that Haryanvi wrestlers do. It's also called Hindu squats in the West. They go down and come up. They don't go gradually down and gradually come up. They don't bear that weight uselessly for no reason on their joint. They don't destroy their joints for no reason, because if you do those workouts you will have better muscles but you will have no functional strength. So Indian workouts are essentially a case of swinging and not weight bearing uselessly and not growing useless muscle. Because one problem with extra heavy muscle and big muscles is, remember that your blood circulation is everything. Your blood circulation also, and what depends on the size of your body is that how you breathe depends on the size of your body, no matter if it's fat or muscle. If you create a larger pathway for your oxygen and your blood circulation to go around your body, then you will tire out your body faster than a guy who has smaller mass. So bodybuilders who have gigantic bodies, so the blood is taking more time to go around his body. So that creates lots of problems. And then we come to what's popular in the West, very popular in the West now, kettlebells and the Mugdar, or also called Mugdal. No, I think it's called Mudgal and Mugdar. And in Bengali it's called Mugur. And in South India it's called something with K, Kalari, something like that. So it's also called wrestling mace or Indian wrestling mace in the West. That also is totally based on swing. Because what's the main benefit of a swing based workout? Because you can use your body like a weapon. Think of a cricket bat. Imagine if you were using a cricket bat to work out. Would you do it, hold it up and then move it here and move it here? No, a cricket bat is a weapon. You swing it, whoosh. That's how the power is generated. That's how kinetic energy is generated. And that is the issue with, that is the main fundamental of Mudgar training as well. Because you swing it. It was essentially made and created, that an entire training system was done to train warriors and kings themselves. They used to train Mudgars all day because they had to go to wars. And if you do some research, you'll learn that we didn't have any good war horses until the 20th century or late 19th century. So all the horse things you watch on movies, it's all rubbish. We had very few horses. They were extremely costly to grow them up and to nurture them, and definitely we didn't have those 6 feet 7 feet height wala tall horses. We had shorter horses which were only good enough to carry some equipments to the war field. In the core war, no one was going to send a horse because it took so much money to bring them up. Everyone was fighting their wars on foot. So what we see in movies is actually worse than what it was in reality. In reality, it was more in movie terms, it would be more fun to watch hand-to-hand combat, right? And sword-to-sword combat. That was the reality of the day. No one was taking horses and going into the war fully, because if the horse dies, that's a bigger loss than a soldier dying. And when there were no horses, you had to fight with either your gada, your sword, and your shield. So imagine holding these two heavy goddamn things and fighting and swinging for hours and hours for the entire day, fighting 50, 60, 100 guys on the war field until you get killed or kill about 50, 60 guys and then get back home, survive, then go to the field and fight the next day again. No bodybuilder can survive this situation for more than 10 minutes. I guarantee you. No bodybuilder can survive 5 seconds in any MMA fight inside a cage. No bodybuilder can survive 10 seconds with any of Haryana's wrestlers. I guarantee you that. They have zero lung endurance, their muscle mass is worthless. Indian Kushti is the home of true Indian training systems, and in Northeast they understand really well explosive training because they create the best weightlifters, Olympic weightlifters. That takes up requires a huge amount of explosive burst of kinetic energy and power. So Northeast and Haryana, these two is where we need to look at for understanding better fitness and training systems, and not Western systems. Now coming to Russia, kettlebell is essentially a Russian equipment. So it was popularized by a man with a surname with something V. He came on Joe Rogan's podcast. I really like that man. I've just forgotten his name right now. So kettlebells, you remember, and also a Russian equipment, a Russian training system. And what's common with India and Russia? That they are also good at wrestling. Now, kettlebell, you remember, you must know that it's also dependent on swinging. The workout itself is called a kettlebell swing. You pull it up, whoosh. You do whoosh. You don't hold it like a dumbbell. You don't bring it up and get it back. And so it's not a weight bearing. It's all about explosive energy. And it's all about burst of gigantic amounts of kinetic energy so that you can use your body like a weapon. So if you train a lot with a mugur or a mugdar, that will equip you to actually beat up a person or be effective in war or hold a gun even for long hours. Best workouts are in India, and you must immediately get back to Hindu squats, Hindu push-ups, and a lot of mudgar training.